everybody. How we doing on a Monday? Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. This is First Take. Welcome in both your boys in house today. Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith, Molly Karam.
What up?
How are you?
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
You all right?
I'll just high-five the air.
You just swat me away.
No, I'm just high-fiving the air.
Don't bite. Don't bite.
You and Tom Brady. You know, you
Yeah.
and Psycho
Don't
Tom.
bite.
That's
Except
what you
I did it on purpose.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
There you go.
Got it.
Let's roll.
All right, we got a lot to get into. Let's start with Steph Curry. He injured his ankle late in the first half of Saturday night's blowout win over the Rockets. Curry only played 3 minutes in the second half before being pulled by Steve Kerr. He received treatment on the ankle on Sunday and did not practice. Kerr calls Curry questionable for Game 2 tonight against the Rockets. Stephen A., the question is for you, should Steph play?
Me personally, I would say no. You know, you defer to the judgment of Steve Kerr along with Steph Curry. Steph Curry's a pro. He's been through this before. Prior to last season, he had a history of ankle injuries. Obviously, it was something that the Golden State Warriors at that particular moment in time were very, very concerned about. It hasn't been a concern the last two full regular seasons, certainly not during the playoffs for him last year. I understand that he would try to play. The playoffs matter. Every game counts. I understand that Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors will use their judgment and defer to him as well. If it's me personally, I don't play him. If you don't play him, you're talking about a full 4 days rest before Game 3. You're talking about a Golden State Warriors that have beaten the Houston Rockets, I think it's like 12 of the last 13 times. With Steph Curry on the court, the likelihood of them beating the Golden State Warriors are slim at best. When I look at it from that perspective, and I'm thinking about the fact that you're on your home court, combined with the fact that you're 73-9, it's not just that Steph Curry is the league MVP. According to the Golden State Warriors, we are a great team. We trust one another. We share the basketball. We play collective defense. We're exceptionally well coached. We're a first-class organization, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are a number of reasons to believe that under these circumstances, on your home court, you could win Game 2 without the services of Steph Curry. No doubt it would be considerably harder to do so against Houston without Steph Curry because we all know that James Harden is a superstar scorer. But at the same time, if you are 73-9, if you are the team you have portrayed yourself to be and you have convinced us that you are, you should be able to win a Game 2 without Steph Curry. If this is an ankle injury for anybody else, it would be different. But his history of ankle injuries, you don't want to crop up in the midst of trying to defend your crown. I would sit there and say, even if he was healthy and he could go, unless he was 100%, sit him for now and use that additional 3 days to rest.
So, if you are Coach Steve Kerr, would you believe in your heart of hearts that you could win fairly easily at home against this team you have owned?
Not fairly easily, but I would believe I could win.
Okay.
Not fairly easy, but I do believe I could get it done.
Okay, I'm going to remind everybody that without Steph on New Year's Eve at Houston, Klay and company did win a game against the Rockets. It was 114-110 because Klay Thompson scored 38 points. He scored 17 in the first quarter. He scored 14 in the third quarter. And in those two quarters, Golden State, the visiting team, took control of the basketball game.
Yep.
Now, Draymond had a triple-double. He went 10, 11, and 16 assists. Wow. And off the bench came Iguodala, scored 20 points, and Bogut had 11 rebounds. So all those folks in the Golden State organization who take exception with me when I say this team goes as Steph goes, they could prove me wrong tonight if, as you say...
That's true.
Okay, let's just see what happens. This Houston team is, to me, the definition of what I call a squirrely team, as in completely unpredictable. Any night, any place, any time. We saw down the stretch, they beat Oklahoma City, they beat Toronto, and even though LeBron didn't play in the game at Cleveland, Kyrie and company were up 20, remember that? And here came James Harden. Now, Klay Thompson, not only on offense, but on defense, has done a number on James Harden, and he started off on him the other day, and James Harden missed his first 4 shots with Klay guarding him. Okay. Remember, they have played against each other since high school in the L.A. area. They played against each other in college, Washington State versus Arizona State. And Klay talked yesterday, or I guess it was the day before, well, no, it was yesterday. Talked yesterday, I know I read the quotes in USA Today, about how he knows all of James's moves. You know, the between the legs, step back, jump shot, and he goes down the lane and is always throwing his arms out trying to get the fouls. Do you realize James Harden shot 174 more free throws than anybody in the league shot this year? I'm talking about attempts. 174 more.
Right.
And on Saturday, he shot zero. Zero.
It happens.
Okay.
It happens.
Well, is it going to happen tonight? Do you think he'll shoot zero free throws? I don't think he'll shoot
that
zero.
happens 2 nights in a row.
Okay. I'm just
2
saying,
games in a row.
this team is capable. This Houston team, for almost unpredictable reasons, if Dwight just feels like playing, I don't know, maybe he does. James had 30 that night on New Year's Eve at Houston, and it wasn't enough. Again, 114 to 110. What if all of a sudden they start to click? What if all of a sudden they steal game 2? Would you be a little worried if you went to Houston tied 1-1? You'd feel like you were down 1-1 is what it would feel like.
I don't think if you're the Golden State Warriors, you're the reigning defending NBA champions, fresh off a 73-9 season. I'm not saying that it's not a precarious situation to place yourself in. I'm saying ultimately anything that elevates the quality of health of a Steph Curry, that's a plus. And it far outweighs any potential minuses. So even though you're jeopardizing a victory in game 2, I would rather go to Houston 1-1 with a healthy Steph Curry.
I'll buy that.
Than go to Houston 2-0 with a suspect Steph Curry, because I played him knowing he wasn't 100% and may have possibly made him worse as opposed to better.
Okay, I hear you. But in the bigger picture, I'm with you about this one point. I have no idea exactly how bad Steph's ankle. Is it a tweak or a rollover turn? Did he turn it or just tweak it? I don't know, because they're a little circumspect, as they should be. They're calling it questionable. Steph obviously wanted to play, played for a couple minutes, and Steve Kerr said, I don't like how he looked, and I pulled him out, and he didn't fight me after that. So here's my point. Do you realize that's the same ankle that has had multiple surgeries? Do you realize that well, you do. He's had tissue paper ankles on both sides earlier in his career that look like they might derail his entire career. So it rears its ugly head right on schedule when you least want it to. After your owner had made the rather outlandish claim, I thought, that we are probably light years ahead of all other teams. Well, guess what? Light years can diminish quickly when you're two-time MVP. I'm assuming he's going to win again. I think it's a runaway, but your back-to-back MVP reverts to having ankle issues. It can level the playing floor in this case very, very quickly. I still say they go as Steph goes. I'm going to stand by that. I don't think Klay Thompson scores 38 tonight.
I'm just asking you for clarity, though. Do you believe they should play him or sit him?
I think you have to sit him because of his history.
So you agree?
And again, but I don't know enough. These are always hard for us because we don't know. But I mean, it's possible Steph woke up this morning and said, you know what? I feel like I'm 99% good. I don't know that. My instinct tells me he's not 99% good. That, remember, he's going up against a defender who is as high, and I'm talking about Patrick Beverley. He is as high energy and relentless as any on-the-ball defender in the league. He comes at you so hard. He's so scrappy. He continues to put you in awkward situations, in dangerous situations, right? Because he's kind of unconventional in his movements. Right. And all of a sudden you're trying to duck and dart, and you can roll one again pretty easily, more easily against Patrick Beverley than against anybody else.
A couple of things from an historical perspective I think we need to bring up. Number one, you're talking about a guy in Patrick Beverley that, number one, hurt Russell Westbrook. It wasn't, you know.
I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to bring it up. Like, I don't wish it on anybody.
I am a huge fan of Patrick
So
Beverley.
am I.
I got a lot of love for him.
I agree.
He's a rough rider. He goes after it. He's got the heart of a lion. He's not scared of anybody. I remember I was told one story where Kyle Lowry walked up to him, and Kyle Lowry is as tough as they get as well. And he's shaking hands, and he's being all nice at Patrick Beverley. And Patrick Beverley like, I ain't trying to be your friend right now. I'm trying to get at you. This is his mentality. And so he's not going to have...
Steph had a chance after the game to call him a dirty player. He said, was he a dirty player? And Steph said, absolutely not dirty. But go ahead.
But, you know, they get along well. They've known each other quite a long time. And Patrick Beverley's not a dirty player, even though I never approved of that play against Russell Westbrook.
I didn't have a big issue with it.
But I did, and he knows I did. I always tell him that.
Trying to call timeout.
That's right.
He sort of knifed him trying to get the ball.
There you go. But Patrick Beverley's got a lot of heart, and if he senses a weakness, he's like a shark in blood-infested waters.
I agree.
He's going to come after you. That's point number one. Point number two, Skip, need to be reminded of, not just the tissue paper ankles that Steph Curry once had. Keep in mind that in 2000, the Los Angeles Lakers played against the Indiana Pacers. Kobe Bryant injured his ankle in Game 2, only played 9 minutes, scored 2 points. You know what they did in Game 3? They sat him. Kobe Bryant didn't play in Game 3 of the NBA Finals against the Indiana Pacers. Came back, rescued Shaq and the crew, dropped 28, okay, did what he did in Game 4. My point to you is that when you have a superstar who was known for dealing with injuries and overcoming them, even though to a lesser degree at that point because he was still relatively young. This is in the year 2000. Look out 16 years later. The fact of the matter is you look at a young Kobe Bryant, willing to play through injuries, et cetera, but the ankle is nothing to play with because it can truly inhibit your ability not just to make shots, but to run up and down the court, to defend everything. Everything that we know and love about Steph Curry gets jeopardized from an ankle injury, more so than anything else. So if you take that into consideration, you have to look at that and think about the length of the playoffs. If you win this series, which you are expected to do, you'll likely be going up against the Clippers. That will not be easy. If you get past that, you'll likely be going up against OKC or San Antonio in the Western Conference Finals. And it's almost a surefire bet that you're going to go up against LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love and Cleveland, who we'll be talking about in a minute. So you take all of those things into consideration. If you can't sit Curry down for this one game on your home turf, then the fact of the matter is the Golden State Warriors don't believe in themselves as much as we thought they believed in themselves. Because if you believe in yourself, 73-9, you can beat these Houston Rockets without Steph Curry for one game on your home floor. In Houston would be far more arduous. In Golden State, you should be able to win this game without Steph Curry.
If Steph doesn't play tonight, I believe it falls on Clay's shoulders to be Steph tonight, to take up the scoring slack. I don't say he has to score 38, but he might have to score 30+ and take turns guarding James Harden.
I would also say to you, add Sean Livingston to the equation because he creates matchup problems for anybody. And of course, there's always the Draymond Green, but Harrison Barnes and Andre Iguodala can hit threes as well. So defense, but Sean Livingston creates matchup problems.
And he would start in place of Steph.
Listen, they should be able to beat this Houston Rockets team. With all the trouble they've had this year, with Dwight Howard on his way out, this Houston Rockets team, you can't beat them for one game on your home court?
Sometimes they're not.
Okay.
Let's get to the East, where we had a close one. Speaking of being able to handle it, the Cavs, big three, they came up huge, totaling for 81 points together. LeBron had 22 points, 11 rebounds, and Pistons coach Stan Van Gundy not